this is the Module 8 introduction video. So at this point in the course, we've been looking at variables univariately. And so what I mean by that is we've been learning how to summarize variables one variable at a time. In this module, we're going to start looking at multivariate analyses, and that's where you look at more than one variable at a time. And specifically, we're going to focus on bivariate comparisons, and that's when you compare two variables. In public health, this is really important because often what we're going to do is we may compare one variable that's a demographic variable and then another variable which is our topic variable. And that's what you're going to do for your report this week. And so what comparisons like this allow us to do is it allows us to look across different demographics to see if we can see any patterns that are occurring with the variable that we're interested in. So for example, in the software video for this week, I'm going to compare the education variable, which is a demographic variable, to a topic variable. And the topic variable I'm going to look at is pneumonia vaccine. And so what these comparisons will allow us to do is they'll allow us to look at the breakdown of education, so in other words, the different levels of highest education obtained, and then look and see if we see any patterns with whether or not someone received the pneumonia vaccine. And so in a public health setting, comparisons like this are really important because they may help us determine if we're going to go and, let's say, do some kind of campaign to encourage people to get vaccinated. It may help us find groups of people that we should target if we see lower compliance compared to other groups. So for example, if we see that those without a college education are getting vaccinated at rates higher than those with a college education, then that would maybe suggest that we need to target those with a college education to go and get vaccinated. And so it helps us just really look at different patterns, and so we can figure out different ways that we can target different groups of people for different promotions or things like that. And so again, this week is really going to look at that comparison of two variables. You'll look at both how to compare two categorical variables to each other, as well as how to compare two quantitative variables together. And so if you've ever heard of linear regression is a way to compare two quantitative variables. And so you'll look at several examples of that in the notes as well. For your report, majority of the variables in the BRFSS are categorical, as you've seen. So for the software piece, we're just going to focus on the comparison of categorical variables. But that's not to mean in the future that you might not need the scatter plots or linear regression pieces, which look at the comparison of two quantitative variables. So as always, if you have any questions this week, you need any help, please feel free to reach out, and I'm more than happy to help in any way that I can.